So good afternoon. Welcome you all to the session 4 of Faculty Empowerment Program. We have an interesting topic for today's session. It is developing intuitive skills for decision making. The gut feeling, or otherwise human intuition, that is for some, it is an alternate to painstaking fact gathering and analysis. For some others, to think intuition as a substitute for reason is risk-taking. So let us wait and see what the speaker for the day, Mr. Sengu Paal, has got to say on this. To introduce Mr. Sengu Paal, he is an NLP practitioner with 18 years of track record in facilitation, training, coaching, teaching, and quality. His sensitizing style is simple yet highly personalized. He creates several learning moments by using various methodologies: experiential, discovery, transformational, social, and introspection during his sessions. Currently, Sengu heads ezone training and handles 100+ clients pan-India. He believes in transformative learning and has empaneled 100 trainers, creating a rich pool of talents. He is a strong and versatile communicator and has conducted training for executives, senior leadership teams, CXOs, and entrepreneurs. Sengu excels in leadership development, building high-performance teams, and change management program. He specializes in creating exclusive sensitization modules, simulation games, and leadership development programs. His skills include deeper understanding of business requirements, strong and lasting connections with audience, creative and innovative delivery methodologies, versatile communication styles with proficiency in vernacular language. Highest level of commitments to work with eye for details is also one of his skill set. Over to Mr. Sengu. Before that, I request all participants to be cautious in muting and unmuting the mic. Thank you. Over to Mr. Sengu.
Thank you, Jaya, and a very good afternoon, people. Can you hear me? Can you see me? If you can hear me and see me, please say yes. Type yes, the letter yes in the chat box, please. So it is going to be a very interactive session. I want you to respond. So one way of responding to me is by responding in the chat box. Yes, yes. Wonderful. Krishnamurti is ready. Yes. Okay. What about others? Please type yes, the letter yes or yes, whatever is comfortable for you. Or if you want to unmute and speak, so you can say yes in the mic as well. Yes. Lakshmi Pati, yes. Very good. Yuvaraj, yes. Palniappan, yes. Great, wonderful. Amazing. Great. Good to see that energy in you guys. Okay. So we can also use an alternate. Okay. So where we can use an alternate to respond. I can also give you a link. Let us check whether you're able to use the link. Okay. So just a moment. I'm going to drop a link in the chat box. And I want you to use the chat link to respond. Just to see how it works and to ensure that you're all with me. Just click on this link and respond to that link. And respond there in that link. Just click on that link and respond there. Let us see. Yes. Okay. Okay. I'm getting the responses here. Let's see. Okay, there are how many people here? There are 40 people. So let's see. Let's hear at least some 45 responses. More responses uh, is also possible, right? Okay, great, fine, wonderful, peaceful, eager, cool, efficient, joyful, active. Okay, this is how we feel. Great, wonderful, good to know. Good to know. What about others? We are getting very few responses. It has to be a very interactive program. Okay, great, happy, eager. So there is someone who is feeling peaceful. Good to hear. Good to hear. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so that's how we would interact either in the chat box, or you can unmute, or if sometimes I may also drop you a chat link where you can drop your responses through the link. Okay, so as Jaya said, I'm heading the training department of a training company called ezone India. So we are a training company based out of Chennai. We do programs pan India. I remember 3 years ago, so I was there at KCG campus where we did a program for all the HODs. So that is the recent interaction that we have. And we are also associated with the admission division where we work with the admission team to reach out to schools as well. So that is the connection with KCG per se. Yes, today the topic is about intuitive skills in decision making. So let us make it as very interactive, because in all our programs I start with 3 promises. Let me also start today's session with those 3 promises. My first promise is I promise you for a purpose. So purpose. Is there anyone in this training room so who doesn't understand or follow Tamil? Not at all, not even a bit. Is there anyone who doesn't understand or follow Tamil? If there is anyone who doesn't understand or follow Tamil, please raise your hand, or please unmute and say yes. Okay, so I'm talking about the 3 promises. Our first promise is I promise you for a purpose. Without a purpose, we'll not do anything inside this training room. So inside this 90 minutes, so definitely there is going to be a purpose. My second promise is I promise you for learning as well as understanding. So let me ask you, what is the difference between learning and understanding? What is the difference between learning and understanding? So if you know the answer, you can write the answer in the chat box, or you can unmute if that is comfortable. Some of you can unmute and speak. Yes. What is the difference between learning and understanding? Okay, as a facilitator, I need feedback from you guys. I don't know, you all are faculties. I don't know how you run your programs and your classes, but I
Learning
need
is the
feedback.
knowledge of facts. Understanding is being able to apply them.
Okay, Amrita, thank you very much for your response. Knowing and practical and theory. Learning is theory and understanding is application. Okay. Any other response? Let me hear from 2 more people. Yeah. Gladwin Pradeep has said, I can do something, then I have learnt it. Okay. So learning, the unknown is learning. Okay, great. Yes, 2 more responses. Yes, Dhanalakshmi, what do you think? What is the difference between learning and understanding? So when I call out the names, you can unmute and speak. Okay, so learning means it has to be something new. Okay, yes, Yuvaraj. So learning means something, it has to be something new. Okay, only new things can be learned. When you say you're learning something, that means you never experienced it before, you never heard about it before, you never worked with it before. So it is something new. Only new things can be learned. Understanding could be for things which you already know, or knowing only now, but gaining some clarity over things. That is called understanding. Okay, so learning means it has to be something new. Understanding could be for things which you already know or knowing now, but gaining some clarity over things. That is called understanding. So I am promising you for both learning as well as understanding. If not too many things, definitely here and there in the next 60-70 minutes there is going to be a little bit of learning, but I promise you for more of understanding. So if you want me to give an example for differentiating learning and understanding, I would say this question itself is the best example. You all know the difference between learning and understanding. Yes or no? You all know the difference between learning and understanding. Yes or no? say yes in the chat box, or you can unmute and say.
Yes, sir.
You all know the difference between learning and understanding, correct? Yes, wonderful. Yes, you all know, but then when I asked you as a question, you had great difficulty to put as a response. That means there is some clarity missing, which is holding you, stopping you from responding. So I am promising you for both learning as well as understanding with respect to the topic that we're discussing today. So if you know something, yes, we gain some clarity on things. If you don't know anything, so there is definitely some learning for you today. Yes. So I promise you for a purpose, I promise you for learning as well as understanding, and I also promise you for a engaging and transformative program. Engaged and transformative program. So that means so it is going to be very engaging, and end of the day we'll have something to practice. So it is not just for knowledge. I don't believe in just spreading knowledge. So knowing makes no difference. Only if you apply and take action, you will see a transformation for yourself and through you to others. So I want you to put that in action. So I promise you for a very transformative, easy ways to put that in practice. So with that promises, let me also share my expectation. I want you guys to be, interactive, participative, and involved. I want you to be interactive, participative, and involved. Yes. So and one more instruction, if you're not speaking, please mute yourself. So Amruta and Palniappan, you can mute yourself now. So when you want to speak, just unmute and speak, and then again go on mute. Okay, great. So with those context set, let's move on to the program, today's program. And today's program is about, it is on developing intuitive skills, for decision making. So first of all, I would like to thank each one of you. So I would like to thank you all for making a decision, because you made a decision to attend this program. So I really want to congratulate you, appreciate you, acknowledge you for deciding to give this 90 minutes of your lifetime with me by being in this program. So I really appreciate that decision that you made today to be part of this program. So I appreciate and thank you. So, and I feel more responsible for this 90 minutes because I really want to add value to you and through you to the students that you may be serving in your roles and responsibilities. So yes. So with that acknowledgement and gratitude, so let me ask you the simple question. I want you to respond to this question on the chat box. On the chat box, just leave this answer. Does percentage of critical decisions are made using our intuition? Does percentage of critical decisions are made using our intuition? How much percentage of critical decisions are made using our intuition is the question that I ask you. So I want you all to respond in the chat box. How much is the intuition contributing for a critical decision making? 10% says Yuvraj. Dr. Hemalata says 50%. Pradeep says 55. Dr. Vandana says 80%. So I would like to hear from everyone. I want all of you to participate. Rajesh Kannan says 60%, more than 60%. What is that? More than 60%, Rajesh Kannan Subbaraj. Because 90 is also more than 60, 100 is also more than 60. Can you give a rough or a specific amount or a number? 95%, almost 100%. Anuradha says that. Okay, great. So 60, 70, 80, 95, 100. What about others, people who did not respond? Please respond. I want everyone to respond. Please be participative. That is my expectations from you guys. Okay. Only 20%. Okay, I want Yuvraj and Palniappan to unmute. I want Yuvraj and Palniappan to unmute and say why they feel only 20 to 30% or 10%, 20%. And later I'm going to ask Anuradha and Dr. Vandana to share their views, why they feel it is 80% and 100%. Yes, now I would like to hear from Yuvraj and Palniappan, where they said 10% and 20%, which is the least I heard. Yes, why? We would like to hear your insights. Yes.
Sir, So this is Dr. Palniappan here, sir.
Yes, sir.
So this is Dr. Palniappan here. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, Dr. Palniappan, I am with you. Please go ahead.
So the 10 is it at the last moment what we have to take immediately. So my hope, I 20% are taken with our initiations.
Intuition. Okay.
Yes.
So, okay. So yes, Yuvraj, you said very less percentage. Can we hear your justification or your insights? Yuvraj, please, if you are speaking, please unmute and speak. Okay. So looks like Yuvraj is not with us. Let's move on to Anuradha. Yes, Anuradha, ma'am. 95% to 100% is what you think.
That is basically for me. I generally go for, I take decision mostly based on my intuitions. It works, always works out for me. I don't know
Okay.
about others.
Okay.
Basically, I feel intuitions are based on the experience. It
So
is
based on your own experience of life, you're sharing that for
from
you.
the subconscious level I'm taking, because whatever I understood from the experience, it is at my subconscious level, and that is going to come in as play a role as an intuition. That's what
Perfect.
for me it worked out. I don't know about other people.
Yes.
My decisions are based on 90% intuition and 10%
Facts.
facts. Yeah.
Okay. So you're a very intuitive person then.
Yeah. Pardon.
You're a very intuitive person.
For me, it works out. I don't know
Yeah.
about.
So that's what I'm saying. You are an intuitive person. You go with your intuitions.
Yeah. Yes.
You
Sir.
act on your intuitions. Okay, great. Yes, Vandana, ma'am. So would you like to add more? What about your experience?
Hello. Hi, sir. So it is actually 80% only for me. I will not say always it has been correct for me.
Okay.
And sometimes it has been wrong also. So that is why I said just 80%.
Okay.
Sometimes like 20% it was not right for me.
Okay.
And as Anuradha ma'am quoted, it depends on person to person, right? Always will not be correct, right? So it varies from person to person.
Okay.
So that is what I feel. It is
Okay,
just 80% for me.
Super.
80%
So let me.
is, yeah.
Generally, for others, what do you think? Generally, for people, what do you think is the count? An average, how much percentage of intuition actually plays a role in our decision making for general
Could be
people?
70, 80, like Anu ma'am said, it is 95 also. Yeah. It varies from person, but generally, as you ask, it could be more than 70 also, right?
Okay. Yes.
Fine.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Maya Joby, can you just say how much does the emotions play a role in our intuitions? How we differentiate emotions and intuitions? What is the difference between emotions and intuitions? So Maya Joby, so this question is to you.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Sir.
I
How you
think
differentiate emotions and intuitions? Or what is the
sometimes
connection or what is the difference?
I think certain decisions has to be made emotionally, but certain decision like I have heard like some decisions through heart you have to take, some decisions through mind you have to take. So it depends
Do you
on
practice that? Do you also do that? Do you take some decisions through heart, some through?
Not always successful. Sometimes I'll miss to think about it.
What kind of decisions you take from the heart? What kind of decisions you make from the heart?
If it is related to relations, friendships, etc. And when it is professional, I'll go with brain, mind, like not much with heart.
So how about with your students?
Definitely both.
Okay, so for the rest of the relationships, other than the student-teacher relationships, it is the heart, and for the rest of the life, it is about mind. And when it comes to students, it's heart and mind.
Yeah, they are much close to my heart, but definitely I have to put on my mind also.
So you have to put your mind also to work. Okay. So Lakshmi Pati, so what do you think? What is the connection between emotions and intuition? So if you're speaking, please unmute and speak. Yes, if there is anyone else who would like to take up this question, what is the connection what is the relation between emotions and intuition? How does that influence?
I personally feel when you're a positive person, even your intuitions will always point to only positive directions. You will expect only good things to happen when you're a positive person.
So your nature will influence.
Yeah, that's what I personally feel.
Okay. So how about emotions? What is the role of emotions in intuitions or decision making?
No, emotionally, that's okay. Emotions in the sense, I would want only good things to happen to people connected to me. So that way, I think it will have an influence on my intuitions also, that only the good things are going to happen.
Okay.
We probably think what we want to happen will happen. So
Okay.
if I don't know if I answered your question, that's what I
Okay,
feel.
so no problem, no problem. I really appreciate your courage to respond. Okay, I appreciate that. Okay, great. So I want you guys to think on this question, keep that question in your mind, and keep finding an answer to the question. What is the connection or the role of emotions with intuitions? Okay, so now let's move on. What is intuition? Okay, we're talking about developing intuitions in decision making. So let's also quickly hear from you guys. What is intuition? I want at least 5 people to respond. So what is intuition? Yes, Clement Raj, we'll begin with you. Randomly, I'm going to call a few people. If there is no volunteers, I'm going to call people. Yes, Clement Raj, can you unmute and respond? What is intuition according to you?
Hello, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Very good afternoon. Yes.
Intuition is just what we remember by just what we have experienced so far.
So
probably through
our
experiences. Decisions we make through our experiences.
Okay.
Or what we have learned also we can.
Okay, super, Clement. So yes, Famina, what do you think? What do you think about intuition? What is intuition? Okay, I'm also getting responses in the chat box. I'm reading all of them. Yes. So Vijay Raghav says nothing but our sixth sense. Yes. Yes. Dr. Jose, if you can mute, okay, we won't hear that you're having a lunch conversation. Okay. So can the moderator unmute that person so that we can save him? Okay. Yes, Arul Lingo. So Arul Lingo, what is intuition according to you? What does intuition mean to you? Hello. Okay, so what does intuition mean? Intuition is the inner voice. Okay, Prashant. Okay, very good. Prashant says intuition is the inner voice. Pradeep says when you have only partial facts and you are required to make a decision, you go with a good guess. Okay, so when the data is insufficient, then we go with your gut feeling. So that's what you call it as intuition. Yes. So any other response? Yes, either in the chat box or you can unmute and say. So what does intuition mean to you?
Yes, I'm Venkat here.
Yes,
Can
Venkat, go ahead. Yes, Venkat.
Intuition, generally, I feel that there is no proper reason for getting it. Generally, I get an intuition. I cannot justify why I get it. Making a choice, maybe getting an intuition, I will not be in a position to justify the decision. Hello.
Yeah, so you're talking about an example. So, but what is, by definition, what is intuition? You're giving an example where it works, where it doesn't work. So can you define intuition?
That's my definition, actually. We cannot define it.
We cannot define it, so that's what you feel. Okay, great. So I'm going to give you a simple way to find out. Okay, so not just for you, Venkat, for everyone. Intuition is equal to computing minus dash. Intuition is one way of computing. Okay, so intuition is one way of computing. So, but then inside of the computism, we are negating, we are discounting something. So intuition is equal to computing minus dash. So what do you fill that dash with? Okay, so we're getting responses as predictions. Okay, so that's for the other question. Okay, intuition is equal to computing minus dash. Okay, so Pradeep says facts, Hemalata says experience. Okay, Facts, removing the facts from the computing. Okay, that is intuition. Okay. What about others? What do you think? Vijay Raghavan says logics. Okay. Reasoning. Okay. Amruta says reasoning. Okay, great. What about others? I want you to participate. I want you to respond. Okay. Great. So intuition is equal to, as Vijay Raghavan said, intuition is equal to computing minus logics. Okay, minus logics. So in a traditional way of decision making, what we do is we go by, analytics and logical reasoning on the facts. Okay. So or the information that is in front of us. We go by the data. We analyze the data. We compute the data with the logics and analytical skills, logical analytical skills, and then we arrive at a decision. So in intuition, so we are discounting the logics. So we are still computing, but then the computing happens automatically. It doesn't involve logics. Then what does it involve? Then what does it involve? Okay, so let me first give you some examples of how this intuition is very powerful. So let me take this opportunity to tell you 90% of critical decisions are made based on your intuitions. 90%. So even for the Fortune 500 companies, big corporates, major decisions, even about businesses are taken emotionally towards the end. Most of the decisions are emotional towards the end. So do you agree? So even for the Fortune 500 companies, most of the decisions that is taken, the business decisions, are taken emotionally towards the end. It is biased with the emotion. Do you agree? If you agree, please say type yes in the chat box. Yes. I'm not sure is what Pradeep says. Okay. So even the governments, whatever decisions the governments are making, okay, they are emotional towards the end. So all the decisions, 90%, why they call it 90%? Almost everything is emotional or intuitive. Why? Because, so let me give you a simple example, okay? So the management decided to, so you are working 5 days a week in college. The management decided to have sixth day working. If the management has made that decision and if that is shared with you, okay, without taking consents from you all, okay, so will you be working with passion and give your 100% on the sixth day? So do you think all the 100% of the staff will give 100% on the sixth day? So when they really was not part of the decision making, when it was decided by the management, it was just cascaded as a foreign information. We are working sixth day for the rest of the months. Okay. So how do you think will the involvement and the productivity of the staffs be? Without the consent and the involvement of the staff in the decision making, if the management decided to have sixth day working, so let us forget that we are in the forum. So let's talk about the truth. Okay, so how the involvement and productivity of the staff be on the sixth day if it is an unanimous decision by the management and it was forced on the staff? I'm throwing a difficult question to you, I know. Okay. Is there anyone who would like to take up this question with courage? Yes. If you are passionate about the job, the initial resentment will give way to involvement. Yes. Amrita, you're perfect. You said it right. Yes. General. So when you take up this question, I want you guys to respond on behalf of the entire staff, right? So don't get personal to this question. So when I frame a question, I'm making it as a very generic one. So how the involvement and productivity of the staff speak. So in the Fortune 500 companies, most of the decisions are made to emotional towards the end because it wants the buy-in from the employees. Otherwise, it will be there as protocols, it will be there as rules, or it will be there as system and process. But you cannot explain it. But you cannot expect a compliance on that. So there will be lack of compliance if there is no involvement from the stop. So it is very important that the decisions are made emotional towards the end. So here is an example of a firefighter. Okay, so these firefighters are making decisions. It's a life deciding decisions they make. Here is one of the examples that happened in some states of United States. Okay, so where the firefighters, the very expert firefighting team, walked into an apartment. There was a fire accident. They walked into apartment and they see this fire oozing out of the kitchen room. Okay, so they went inside the house. They all were in the hall. It is the third floor of the building. Okay, they all were trying to put off the fire that is coming out of the kitchen. So when they were throwing water on the fire did not extinguish. Okay, the fire was not putting off the fire. Water was not putting off the fire. The water was not putting off the fire. Okay, so this experienced firefighter, this experienced firefighter, so was thinking for a moment logically and sees is examining the situation and finds, okay, while water has to put off the fire, why is it not putting off the fire? And there is more heat there's more fire coming through the kitchen, and it is approaching them. Okay, so it is actually rushing to them. And there is also some micro so sounds that is so very very peculiar, that is new, that he has never experienced, is coming from nowhere. Okay, so now, all of a sudden, what this firefighter decided is, this is going against my logic. So the logics are not working. The water should put off the fire. So it's not putting off the fire, and the fire is so the more fire coming towards them, and there's also this noise. There is this different noise that is coming, approaching to them. So he is now deciding to vacate the room and also move the crew outside of the site location. Once they moved out of that living room, okay, they saw the fire breaking out from the basement. Actually, the fire was at the basement. Okay, which was not that data was not available for them. Okay, so with all his senses, when he was examining the place, when he was trying to put off the fire, so it wasn't available for them. With the available data, he was not able to make any decision. But then his intuition said, okay, come on, move away from this place. And then he moved away from the place, and that helped him. So there are so many examples in our life where we would have been intuitively making decisions, and you have realized that is the best of decisions that came from nowhere. So we all have come across in life certain situations where we must have yes, survival instinct. Yes, so it came from nowhere, but it made you to make that action, and after that action and the results of that action, you must have realized that how did I do this? So you must be relating to God. You may be thanking God, or you may be, so if you for a person who is spiritual and acknowledge energy, so you may be acknowledging various things. But then you all must have gone through at least one experience in life like that. If you have gone through such experience, please type yes. Have you gone through an experience in life where beyond logics you did an action, and that action actually resulted in a positive, impactful, outcome? So if you have come across such situation in life, please type yes. Where beyond logics you did some action, and that action turned out to be the best action possible. Yes, yes, we all must have gone through some incident like this. How many of you remember this case? If you are in Chennai, if you have been following news, this is one important murder case in of that decade. How many of you remember this? Can someone tell about this incident? If you remember this incident.
The boy was shot down by the army officer when he tries to enter his house.
Yes, what happened next? So this case was on for a week's time. They were not able to, have any breakthroughs in identifying the murderer. So the boy entered the space, and he was actually trying to pick up some fruits from the tree. So the ex-military army officer has shot him dead. Okay, and then he was acting as if he's one among the public and trying to help that investigation team. He was all the time found with the investigation team. Okay, and with the facts, there is so much of pressure coming from the uh, political pressure and the opposition party bringing some kind of attention, staging some protest in the streets. Okay, the government, then it was Jayalalitha, you know how authoritative she is, and she was, furious about getting this closed. And this was a women IPS officer who was dealing with this case, and they were trying to narrow down on one suspect, and the suspect is an young lad who lives in that military campus, who is single and he lives alone, and he also has a rifle with license, and almost everyone has rifle in that campus. So they were narrowing down that's the only possibility, because all the other possibilities they were trying to analyze and validate, and they were not able to get convinced, and the team somehow narrowed down on some other suspect, and then they were trying to close the case. And that guy, he said, no, I was at that time in a pizza store, having my pizza. So but he was not able to justify and prove that he is one who did not do it. He has to prove that he was somewhere else. So he did not have that bills, he did not have the footages in the pizza store where he had the pizza. So the police were trying to frame a case against him. Then all of a sudden, this investigative officer got this intuition. So from nowhere, she got this intuition that no, that guy is not the culprit. He is not the offender. So her attention turned out to this guy. So who is the real accused on this case? So who is an ex-army officer? All of a sudden, from nowhere, she got that intuition, and then at that point, they had no facts against him. They had no facts against him. In fact, he was traveling with them. He was one of the local people who were actually supporting and helping that investigation team, right? So from nowhere, she got this intuition, and that intuition is what has helped her to close this case later. So in many cases, we can take several cases like that. Okay, so several instances, right from sports, right from some important decisions that Dhoni had made during his career as the captain of Indian cricket team. So many cases beyond facts, when logically, when the entire nation was against it, there are intuitive decisions that leaders make, and that have always seen some tremendous, remarkable results. So yes, so intuition plays 90% of role in making. Uh, yes, of course, yes. Of late, it's not working. Yes, we probably his intuitive skills are not working out now. He may be deteriorating with his intuitive skills. He may have to skill up. Okay, he may have to put that in practice probably. So Vijay Raghavan, yes, this is a clear example for emotions and intuition won't go together. Yes, so that's how we feel, right? So that is your interpretation, Vijay Raghavan. Yes, I totally second your thoughts. Okay, so what does intuition mean? Okay, so the neuroscience news gives this definition, the various definition. I'm just suggesting you this definition. The definition is, so what does the intuition mean? Intuition is a result of information processing in the brain that result in prediction based on previous experiences. This is something which we heard from our participants itself. Okay, it is based on our past experiences. So we make or arrive at some decisions. And the only thing here is it is processed in no time. It is processed in no time. So how is it different? How is it different from conscious decision making? So how do you differentiate intuitions from conscious decision making? So we already saw that in that computing we are taking away the logics. When you remove the logics from the decision making, the computing factor, that is when it is intuitive. So here again we are talking about based on the previous experiences. So that means based on a previous experience, are we going to logically analyze and then form a decision? No, it is instantaneous, fatafat. Even in the moment that is happening, even the moment that we are speaking now, there is some intuition that pops up in our brain, and that is what we go with. Okay, it happens in no time. If you spend time, if you take time, then that means it involves logics. That means you're thinking. So without thinking, so unconsciously, based on your previous experiences, if you are able to arrive at some information being processed and arrive at some decision, that is what we call it as intuition. So then let's also talk about intelligence. Okay, then so intelligence has no say on it. So intuition, if intuition is all about making right decisions, then where does intelligence go? Okay, so you all must be familiar with one great inventor, okay, so whom you see in the screen, right? He is someone who is very intuitive, and he has always been expressive that intuition is very powerful thing, more powerful than intellect. So can someone pick up the mic and share? So from Steve Jobs' life, and how intuition has shaped his life, and through his life has shaped the creativity and innovation in terms of mobile computing, and especially Apple.
I think, yeah, this is Dr. Asad here. Yeah, I think
Yes.
for the intuition, what Mr. Steve Jobs said, like connecting the dots, it's
Yes.
always easy to connect the dots backwards than connect the dots going forward.
Yes.
After you reach a certain stage, then you can connect. So that
Correct.
thing.
So the intuition here has contributed for creativity and innovation. Okay, so this I am presenting for you to differentiate. Okay, so intuition, will that limit, is it going to limit your intelligence? Okay, if we are not putting your intelligence to its best of use, okay, and just go by intuition, then what do we do with the intelligence? Okay, so that is where you need to understand how is intuition contributing for your creativity and innovation. So as the professor said, okay, Steve Jobs always talks about connecting the dots. Okay, connecting the dots is so if you know about his story, his life story, so you all would know. Otherwise, what I do is just a moment. I'll just play a small portion of video that I wanted to play from Steve Jobs. Just a moment. Just a small portion. So one of you confirm that the audio is playing.
And 17 years later, I did go to college. But I naively chose a college that was almost as expensive as Stanford. And all of my working class parents' savings were being spent on my college tuition. After 6 months, I couldn't see the value in it. I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life, and no idea how college was going to help me figure it out. And here I was, spending all of the money my parents had saved their entire life. So I decided to drop out and trust that it would all work out okay. It was pretty scary at the time, but looking back, it was one of the best decisions I ever made. The minute I dropped out, I could stop taking the required classes that didn't interest me and begin dropping in on the ones that looked far more interesting. It wasn't all romantic. I didn't have a dorm room, so I slept on the floor in friends' rooms. I returned Coke bottles for the 5-cent deposits to buy food with. And I would walk the 7 miles across town every Sunday night to get one good meal a week at the Hare Krishna temple. I loved it. And much of what I stumbled into by following my curiosity and intuition turned out to be priceless later on. Let me give you one example. Reed College at that time offered perhaps the best calligraphy instruction in the country. Throughout the campus, every poster, every label on every drawer was beautifully hand calligraphed. Because I had dropped out and didn't have to take the normal classes, I decided to take a calligraphy class to learn how to do this. I learned about serif and sans serif typefaces, about varying the amount of space between different letter combinations, about what makes great typography great. It was beautiful, historical, artistically subtle in a way that science can't capture, and I found it fascinating. None of this had even a hope of any practical application in my life. But 10 years later, when we were designing the first Macintosh computer, it all came back to me. And we designed it all into the Mac. It was the first computer with beautiful typography. If I had never dropped in on that single course in college, the Mac would have never had multiple typefaces or proportionally spaced fonts. And since Windows just copied the Mac, It's likely that no personal computer would have them. If I had never dropped out, I would have never dropped in on that calligraphy class, and personal computers might not have the wonderful typography that they do. Of course, it was impossible to connect the dots looking forward when I was in college, but it was very, very clear looking backwards 10 years later. Again, you can't connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking backwards. So
Okay, so that's a simple example that we want to present you, that, you know, if you guys are thinking that intuition is going to limit the creativity and innovation, okay, so if the intelligence is taking the second seat, and if you are putting the back seat, if the intelligence taking this back seat, and if you are putting your intuition front seat, so will that limit? Okay, if you have such questions, so here is one example in favor. I would like to present that, you know, yes. It is in the case of Steve Jobs, it is not the case. His intuition has always been more powerful than the intellect. So as he was able to connect the dots. Okay, great. So moving on. So let me ask you this one. So how is it intuition different from assumption or guessing? How is it different from guessing? Yes, how is intuition different from assumptions or guessing? I gave the answer a while ago. So how is intuition different from guessing or assumption? Just a minute ago, I mentioned this answer. So if you were listening, intuition is based on experience. Yes, Pradeep, yes. Previous experience, yes. So what about assumption? Assumptions, although we are also assuming. Okay, so assumptions based on some logics, okay? So both are based on past. Both are based on past. So I would appreciate if some of you can unmute and give me some feedback. I want to hear from you guys. I need some energy. Can someone pick up the mic and respond to me? Yes. How you differentiate assumption and guesses from intuition? How the guess and intuitions are different? Intuition is subconscious, okay? Guess can be random, okay? So you're giving different opinions, but connect these two words and give me a response. How is it different? How we differentiate guessing, assumptions, and intuitions? Both are based on past, but how we differentiate? There is one differentiator. I mentioned about the differentiator a few minutes ago. So here is where you need to have the clarity. This is what I mean by understanding. So the nuances, if you know the clarity, then you'll be able to respond. Guess can be random, assumption may be based on facts. So both guess, assumptions, and intuitions are based on the past experiences, okay? But so let me first explain to you how the assumptions are also based on the past experiences. So for that, for you to understand that, you need to understand the functionality of brain. Okay, the brain functions in two ways. One is assumptions, and the other one is association. Assumption and association. So whenever the brain comes across something, some new data, some new format of data, so it will only assume and store it. For example, when you were born in your rice, and if your mother was feeding you, showing you moon, and she was feeding you at your young age, then as a child you are seeing the moon for the first time. So you have never seen the moon forever. So this is the first your this interaction with moon. So as a child we assume that it is round, it is wide, so it is called moon. So it's stored in your brain. So in your neurons and synapses, it's stored as a round white color is a moon. Next, as you grow up, so it is assuming. So first time when you come across something, it is assumption. So second time when you come across an idli, which is on a plate, which is again round shaped and a white color. Now what the brain says, so it is not going to assume again, it's going to associate. It is going to associate with something which it already knows. So it is going to associate with with the moon, which is round and white. So now it is going to associate and store it in the mind. So the brain actually functions in two types. One is assumption, when it's for the new input or new type of input, and association, when it is a similar input, it is going to associate and store. Where it is stored in the neuron and stimulus. And so where it's stored, so it is going to be stored close to the nearest neuron or the stimulus where the associated data is. So say for example, you're learning to ride a bicycle, then you know pedaling and balancing, right? And then you learn to ride a bike, then you add associate with what you already learned, then you add your so gear shift, okay, and acceleration along with that. Then you learn to ride drive a car, then steering and all that is what clutch and steering is what you add up to already known factors. So this is how our brain works. So now I'm asking a specific question, coming back to that question that I asked you before. How is the guess assumptions are different from intuitions? Both are based on your past. How is it differentiated? I mentioned about time. So can you connect this and give a response? So apart from logics that we apply, okay, so it involves thinking. So it involves thinking. So it involves thinking. Thinking means it takes time. You are processing, okay? So intuition is instantaneous, fatafat. Though it is happening, it happens in fraction of seconds, okay? It doesn't take time. The thinking process is taken off, okay? So it doesn't involve thinking. So whereas assumption and analysis is involving some thinking, okay? So in assumption guessing, you involve thinking and analysis. Whereas in intuition, there is no thinking, there is no analysis. But as human beings, we always keep thinking all the time. Why are we thinking all the time? Why are we thinking all the time? So I'm going to request you guys to turn on your mics and respond. Okay, I need some energy. I get energized only if I get some feedback. I want you to be courageous and turn on your mics and respond to me. Yes. Yes, why are we thinking all the time? Non-stop thinking. Why are we thinking all the time? You're talking about stopping to think, Pradeep, but my question is, why are we thinking all the time?
We are thinking to stop thinking. We have to do it without thinking.
Uh-huh. But are you successful in doing that?
No, that is what why human beings think.
Okay.
So you get your things done without thinking automatically. You save your energy.
Okay.
You save your brain power.
Okay. Is this animals thinking?
Maybe they may be thinking. Yeah, they are thinking.
Okay.
Yeah, they
how
solve problems.
Okay.
They solve problems.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So can I get some response from others? Yes. Why are we all the time thinking?
We always have needs, and the thinking is always directed towards achieving them.
So we are having some dreams, goals.
No.
Okay, some social
needs,
needs and social pressure.
Yeah.
So for which we work towards it, and we need to be thinking to achieve that. Okay. Mm-hmm. What does animals do? And contradictory, what does animals do? Let us assume if they are not thinking all the time, but they are doing something else all the time. What does animals do? Our mind designed to think. Okay. Kripavati feels it's a design. We are designed. Human beings are designed to think. Prasad says to do or perform things in right way, to differentiate right and wrong things. Okay, for analysis, that means right and wrong is an analysis. Okay, so just to analyze your thinking. Okay, we have memories. Okay, we have memories. So the memories is haunting you. So that is what is pushing you to think. Okay.
To make decisions, we think.
We make decisions. So even when there is no decision making involved, we think, right? When you are traveling in a bus, are you thinking or not?
Yeah, most of the time.
right?
What we are going to
So
have tomorrow.
yeah, so there is not necessarily all the thinking should involve decision. So it's a sixth sense, yes. It's a sixth sense, Prasad, yes. What does the animals do, which doesn't have a sixth sense? What does they do all the time? We keep thinking all the time. Decision making,
No,
Lauren,
don't you think that animals think?
they
We
also
have,
think, but
yeah.
yeah, they may be thinking, but then there's something that they do every single moment, which we as humans don't do because we have the privilege over them. And the
How
privilege.
do we know that? How do we know that they don't think when
Okay,
all the
so
time?
they may be they are thinking, they may be thinking. So we have study. There are a lot of studies to support that they are emotional. They have their emotions. So as simple as the fact could be we have our own pets at home, right? Correct. It is thinking. If
Yeah, yes,
the
yes.
owner is not home, it is crying. Okay, it is longing, right?
There is a movie called Hachi, I think, a dog which
Yes.
goes every
There are a
place.
lot of studies. There are a lot of studies that proves that. Yeah. Yeah, we are taming the animals. It is able to think, process, right? There are so many videos you can check. To process data from past and to use it in future. Okay, we are coloring our future with our past. Yes, Venkat, you are right. Okay, okay, great. So animals don't have commitment. Okay, so animals don't have the EMIs to pay. That's what Prasant is trying to say. Looks like. Okay, so Lakshmi Padi says animals look for food. Okay, animals look for food. Okay, so let us see this. Okay, so why are we all the time thinking, or all the time uh, so if we are not supposed to think, imagine if you are not supposed to think, what do you think we should be doing? If we take away thinking from human being, what do you think we should be doing?
Sleeping without
Sleeping.
dreams. Without dreams.
Okay, what about others? Unconscious, huh? Okay, we won't exist without thinking. We cannot exist. Okay, so yes, Vijay Raghavan, if that is the case, just take this as a hypothetical question. I'm just requesting you to consider that we all stop thinking. We all stop thinking. So that means taking away the sixth sense, Prasant, right? Prasant, if you're taking away the sixth sense, what do you think we will be doing if we all become animals?
No, most of the students do when we take a class.
Okay, so then, okay, so what do they do?
Stop thinking and sleep.
Okay, so sleeping is not the only alternative to thinking. So what else animals do? We do nothing. We won't exist. Peaceful life if we stop thinking. Okay, human will not be human. Okay, if we stop thinking. Yes, Kripavati, I totally agree. So now let's try to find out what the animals do. If they are not thinking, let us think. It is not thinking all the time. We have the sixth sense. We are trying to think, but they don't think. You know why? You know why? So for animals, it is not going to think because it is about survival, right? It has to live. So for the animal to live, it has to be getting present to what is surrounded by them. It has to be conscious of here and now. It has to be conscious of here and now. If you are not here and now, okay, so you can think. But on the other hand, as human beings, we don't have that necessity. So we have a life to live. Okay, no one is stopping you from living. Probably some social pressure, some some peer pressures. All this could put you in for a better lifestyle. You may be struggling. You may be adding stress to your own life. Okay, but then so we are thinking because we are privileged to think, because we don't have this one to take care of. What is that one that animals have? They need to think about their life and living. For us, life is happening on its own. We don't even think about that. We are breathing. That don't we don't even care that what is happening around us, because there is already a life which is secured life. I can live my life. Okay, so I'm thinking. So, but then for animals, the primary Objective is to live. And for it to live, what it has to do? For it to live, what it has to do? It has to be in attention, not in thinking. It has to be in attention, not in thoughts. Okay, so what animals will be doing, if we take away the thinking, so what we will be doing, we'll be paying attention. Okay, so if they are not thinking, so animals are using their intuitions a lot because they are fully aware of what is around us. Okay, and they are going with their attention to details. So if how many of you, if you go out for a trip, okay, if you are in a hotel resort and you are on the balcony sitting out, how many of you would be paying attention to everything that is around us? Or even when you are at home, when you step out for a walk, evening walk, how many of us are paying attention to each and every details that is around us? So that is not our basic instinct, because we take that for granted because we have a life to live. So we are moving to thoughts, but then attention is what will improve your intuition, and that's what animals does and we don't do. Okay, what if what is the downside or the challenges or the limitations of you being intuitive in problem solving, decision making? Okay, or what will be the limitations in terms of you going with the intuitive decision making? What will be the challenges or limitation? What do you think will be the limitation? So we're going to come back to the attention part because that's the most important part that will actually improve your intuitive skills. Okay, so we're going to come to the attention part a little later, but you just get present to this. So how is intuition different from guessing and assumption? Because intuition is here and now. So assumption, imagination, guesses all involves logical processing of data. That means there is some computing. Okay, so here the computing is taking with the logics. So it is intuitive, is immediate, but then guess and assumptions are all taking time for you to think. That involves thinking. Okay, so but intuition doesn't involve thinking. So it's instantaneous, it's spontaneous. Okay, so and the other one that we want to present to you is, so you need to get present to the difference between attention and thinking. Okay, so you being in attention is getting present to what is around you, so observing things. Okay, from the sounds to lights to the movements to objects that is around us, that is what you pay attention to. So being in attention and being in thoughts are two different things. So intuitive thinking needs a lot of attention. Okay, so you being observant, you being present here and now, that is very important. So instead of you getting lost in the thoughts. Yes, now the question to you is, what will be the challenge or what will be the limitation of we making a decision based on our intuitions? If you just not go by the traditional way of decision making, where we collect data, more and more data, and then analyze on the data, okay, process the data and achieve results, okay, or outcome. So instead, if you go with your intuitions to make decisions, what will be the downside or the limitations? So Banu, I can take up responsibility of implementing our intuitions, rationalize or justify. Okay, yes. So what about others? Yes. What will be the challenges or limitations of you making decisions based on your intuition? What is the limitation? Can I get few responses, please? Emotions, okay. What about others? So Geetu, Gauri, Nalini, Kannan, please feel free to respond. Yes. Influence on others, okay. So if you're just being intuitive, it is going to color your emotions, it's going to color your decisions, okay. Influence on others, okay. So you have certain beliefs and thoughts about us, opinions about others. Oh, இந்த பையனா அவன் இப்படிதான் இருப்பான், அவன் வந்து சரியான இதுதான் செய்வான் அப்படின்னு. So you have that strong opinion, beliefs about others, and that is going to color your decision, okay. Okay, so if there is a group discussion, Pradeep, good point. If there is a group discussion and if you have to unanimously decide, okay, each one is coming with your own intuitions, and it will not be the same. Your intuition, my intuition will not be the same. So making a consensus and decision making in a group decision making could be challenging. Okay, so individually is fine, but the group it may not work. Okay, may not be an informed decision. Yes, so without data, so enough data to substantiate. Okay, to we will not be able to make an informed decision. Yes, Anita, you're right. Yes, Venkat says sometimes it's hard to explain it to a team. Yes, you made some judgments, you made some decisions based on your intuition. So validating that, okay, justifying that, right? So that is going to be very challenging. Yeah, Dhoni again. Yes. So we need to stand the criticism that is going to follow you, right? If you're just going by a intuitive decision making. Okay, so for the want of time, so here we go. Okay, so what are the limitations? Okay, so flawed information. If the data is incomplete, then the decision may be incomplete. So short-term emotional bias. We also talked about bias, being biased in decision making. So I'm going to have a separate slide. The next slide is going to talk more about this biasness. So there we talk about what are the different types of bias, and then insufficient consideration of alternate. We may have a better solution, we may have a best of best solution, but just by going by intuition, we are not maximizing our ability to think beyond, the ability to find alternatives and further alternatives, the best of best solution. So we may be negating or not taking advantage or maximizing our ability to think. Yes, insufficient consideration of alternatives. Yes, the right side of the screen is not visible. Something is blocking it, left side. Is that the case with everyone? So prejudice.
Yes, I think someone is drawing in this slides. I request.
No, but I don't see that. So if someone is annotating, you can stop annotating. You can erase it, please. So prejudice, being judgmental. Okay, as you rightly said, if a student is coming to you, so if you're going to be prejudiced, judgmental, so you're going to color. That is going to be colored in your decision making. Lack of openness. Okay, you're going to stick. You're going to be going with your strong beliefs, your own strong beliefs. Yes, and that is going to be lack of openness. So you're not going keeping an open mind. Okay, so that is what is all about prejudice and judgmental, right? So inappropriate application. Yes, sometimes it may also end up in inappropriate application. So yes, here are some of the biased behaviors that we may be carrying out, and these could be the adverse effect of you being biased. So this is the anchoring bias. What is anchoring bias? Okay, so you sticking to one piece of information and trying to justify with that one piece of. So bandwagon effect. What is bandwagon effect? So it is like, in our saying, கூட்டத்துல கோவிந்தா or பத்தோட ஒன்று 11. So if the group thinks that way, so you just second it. So that is about it. So clustering bias. What is this kind of bias? Right? Conservative bias. Recency. Recency is it's about recency is immediate information, or you may have 10 different past memories, but you will just use a recent memory and make a decision. For example, so that's very human thing, right? So we often so you must have come across a situation where you must have done 10 different good things to the person. So one last incident, a negative incident to the person, and the person is going to get stuck with a recent last bad incident, right? So the easy one, at times you may also go for an easy one. So that is salience, and then stereotyping. So this people, this category, this type of guys, this type of work, it is always like this. Okay, we may also end up stereotyping. So I'm not spending time on this because it is something which we all know. It's very basic. You can always read and Google and read it. So it is available in that. So I want to have so much discussion to get some clarity on things that we may not have clarity on. Okay, so we are saying that intuitive problem solving may have some limitation, and we have seen these limitations, and we may be driven by our emotions, prejudice, a lack of openness, and maximizing our ability to think. So in that case, let us also think: can we actually cultivate or learn or improve our intuitive skills? What do you guys think? Do you think we can improve our intuitive skills, because this program is about improving or learning or getting empowered with intuitive skills? Do you think it is possible to get empowered or improve your intuitive skills? So Vijay Raghavan, so why don't you pick up the mic and say how? Tell me one way of improving intuitive skills. One way of improving intuitive skills. Okay, so again, for want of time, I'm going to give you. So this is Ola. So what is the Ola that you guys know of? So what is the Ola that you guys know of? What is the Ola that you guys know? So that is the Ola is travels, right? No problem, Vijay Raghavan. So Ola that I am suggesting is for you to be intuitive, you need to improve your Ola. What is Ola? You need to improve your observation skills, listening skills, and a little bit of analytical skills as well. So why we need analytical skills, I will come to that a little later. We need to improve our observation skills. We need to improve our listening skills, and we need to also be, analytical to improve our intuitive. Because this is not for intuitive decision making. This is something which I suggest you for improving your intuitiveness. Okay, for you to improve your intuitiveness, I'm suggesting you to definitely ask questions. Okay, ask questions. Be analytical, logical. That will help you to improve the intuitive skills. So intuitive skills, like I said, it is about paying attention, right? Intuition is about paying attention. And for you to pay attention, okay, we need to be very observant. So one skill that you all should have to possess is to be very observant. Observant about what? What are the things that we need to be observing? So every single thing around us. Okay, so keeping the senses, 5 senses open and ready to observe what is around us. Listen to what is around us. Okay, keep questioning what is around us. So thereby you'll be able to improve your intuitive skills. So here are some of the examples and exercises that I'm suggesting. Okay, let us do a couple of exercises here as well. I want you to be participative so that we can have more fun in learning this. Notice everything. Paying attention to details, noticing everything, observing, paying attention to each and everything. So whenever you walk inside a hotel, whenever you walk inside somebody's house, whenever you walk inside store, okay, paying attention to everything, exit doors to the security guard to where the dispenser is, where the billing counter is. So paying attention to each and every details of information around us, being observant. Okay, so we need to improve your observation skills and attention to detail skills. So let me give you an example. Okay, so I'm going to project image. I want you guys to find out the 5 differences or 4 differences, minimum 4 differences in this image. The image on the left-hand side and the image on the right-hand side. I want you to find out 4 differences. You can chat or you can pick up the mic and respond. Okay. Time and the clock, yes. 4 differences. Spot 4 differences. Bus number, great, wonderful. Hemalata and Rajesh, yes, bus number. There is a flight, aircraft, yes. Maya, you got it, yes. Airplane, yes. What else? Bus, flight, bus number, clock. One more. Lamppost tip is missing on the right side. Yes, perfect. Yes, perfect, Bono. If you guys are up for it, there is one more. There is one more. Can you find out one more? So there is a man's shirt. The man's shirt. Okay, so if you have missed out. Okay, for people who want more, there is one more exercise. Yes, this one, please. So tell me the 4 differences, 5 differences in this picture. So how about this picture? Yes, I give you 10 seconds. 10 seconds to find out. Yes. Red t-shirt guy on the left side. Yes. Red t-shirt person. Yes. Correct. Okay, again, there is something on the screen, okay, which blocks it. Dome in the building. Yes, dome is right. The dome is second one. Yes. So the red t-shirt guy, dome in the left. Okay. Yes, that is dome is counted. Counted. What else? Give me two more. Give me two more. Yes, how you improve intuitive skills? You pay attention to details. Yes. Be observant. Get present to everything around you. Be more observant. On the roof. Okay, left. Okay. Person is the first step missing. Yes. Dr. Hemalata, very good observation. Appreciation. Yes. Photographer in the right. Photograph in the right. Okay, great. So let's do one more. Let's do one more. You guys are doing great. Let's do this one. Yes. The Mickey Mouse. Yes. Disneyland. Yes. Very easy. Very easy. Yes, you guys are doing great. Find out more. Yes.
Sengu, something is hiding on the screen. ஒரு மேல ஒரு குட்டி rectangle and கீழ ஒரு square.
Oh, is it? So now?
No, it's not yet gone. One strip on the yes, now square is gone. One strip on the top, one rectangle
Now
is there.
this is also gone, right?
Yeah. Yes.
I think that's Zoom window. Yeah, I'm sorry. Okay, that's the chat box and the menu bar on top. Now?
Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, people. Flag is missing. Mickey ear color. Yes. Flag is missing. Okay. What else? Two more guys. 2 or 3 more. So how about Goofy? What do you see? What difference do you see or notice in Goofy? So anything to do with the tower. So look, observe the tower. Okay, so that's just a simple exercise for you to, to improve your so to improve your noticing ability to pay attention to things that you want to see in so they see on things around you. So that is one way of improving your intuitive skills. Yes, being more observant. Okay, so Ola, so do not forget that. Yes, and tuning into someone and guess how they are feeling. Okay, so trying to read others. Okay, so think about people who did not participate today. So there's other staff in your team, okay, in your department who did not participate in this exercise today or in today's session. What do you think they will be feeling right now? Wherever they are, what do you think they will be feeling? Right? Or think about a student. Think about a student who is not able to pay his tuition fees for this semester. Okay, think about a student who is not able to pay his tuition fees for this semester. Okay, so think about some of our staff where their parents, elderly parents, have contracted COVID. So what do you think they will be going through right now? If any of our staff parents have contracted COVID, and what do you think they will be going through? So it's more about empathizing, trying to empathize and see things from their world, being empathetic. So discover the third subset. Okay, so there are 3 subsets I want you to get present to. The first subset is I know that I know. So the first one is, okay, so I know that I know. I know that I know. So give me an example for this subset. I know that I know. Things that you know that you know. உங்களுக்கு தெரியும்னு உங்களுக்கு தெரிஞ்சது. Give me an example for this. Quick. Things that you know that you know. things that you know that you know. Give me an example. Come on, unmute and speak. Y'all, my personal information, yes. Banu, very great. Banu Rekha.
What I really want.
What do you really want? You know what you really want? Yeah. Yes. So you all speak English. You all understand English. That is common example. I know that I know English. I know that I know English. There is a second subset, and that is I know that I don't know. Give me an example for that. I know that I
my future
don't know.
What's in the future?
What's in the future is something which you know that I don't know. Yes. Okay, that's a good example. Yes. So with respect to students, can you give an example? With respect to students, I know that I don't know. With your students, with your classes, from your work life, give me an example. I know that I don't know. I know that I don't know how many of them have some critical feedbacks for me. I know that I don't know how many of them have critical feedbacks for my classes. Okay, so I'm sure none of you know Mandarin or Chinese in this group. Okay, that means I know that I don't know Mandarin or Chinese. This second subset. So what I'm talking about is the third subset, which is a crucial one. Okay, and the third subset is things that I. Okay, so the third subset that I was referring to is I don't know that I don't know. I don't know that I don't know. Give me an example for this. I don't know that I don't know. I don't know that I don't know. Give an example. Can someone give me an example quickly? Yes. We have only 7 minutes to complete this. Yes. I don't know that I don't know. Give an example for this subset.
Whether animals are thinking.
Animals are thinking. I know that I don't know whether animals are thinking, isn't it? That is second subset. You know that you don't know. That is the second subset. Give me a third subset, which is you don't know that you don't know.
I cannot identify because I don't know.
Perfect. So you cannot give any example because you don't know that you don't know. Okay. Right. So this is something which you need to carry out. So for example, so we feel that this is to overcome one of the limitations of intuition. We all feel that we are prejudiced, we are judgmental, right? We will color our emotions into strong beliefs about people in the decisions that we make, correct? So especially when it comes to students. So we all have strong opinions about each student, and we will be coloring each and every decision that we take towards the student with that opinion of ours. So how can we stay away from this and still improve our intuition? So one way of doing this is, so keep aside your, your beliefs and opinions about the person, and believe in this third subset. What is the third subset? Can someone unmute and say, what is the third subset? That is, I don't know that I don't know about that student. That is, I don't know that I don't know about the subject that I'm dealing with. Even the subjects that you're teaching, there is always the third subset. Do you agree? Even with the subjects where you have the expertise and you are delivering the lectures. So there is always this third subset. I don't know that I don't know. Do you agree? Yes or no? In every aspect of life, okay, in every aspect of life, we always have this third subset. First, I want you to believe that, okay, we all have this third subset that we don't know that we don't know. And we need to continuously be in the discovery of, knowing things that we don't know. So we need to constantly, put our efforts to find out what is that we don't know that we don't know. That will help us to, compensate for the, or stay away from being prejudiced, judgmental, and color our opinions of others to make a decision. So now, so quickly, so whatever is the object that you have next to you, so it could be pen, pencil, or mobile phone, or AC remote. Okay, so the mouse of a laptop. So just hold an object. Just hold an object. Just pick up any object, okay, that you have in hand. Okay, so I'm gonna hold my AC remote, and I'm just closing my eyes, and I'm trying to connect with my AC remote, that object, and listen to what it has to tell me. What it has to tell me. If my AC remote is trying to communicate with me something, what is it communicating to me? I want you guys to hold on to some object that is next to you and close your eyes and just take this 30 seconds to find out if it is communicating something to you, what is it communicating? Try to observe. Please be in the attention and see what it is communicating.
India. Hindi படிக்கணுமா? Anyone now?
Okay, so yes, hold on to an object, listen to that object and see what it is telling us. Okay, so you need to listen to the objects. So all observe, listen to what is happening. So, and to discover, you need to you need to ask people to discover something that you don't know about people. So look for specific messages in books and music. So if at all, if the book is trying to communicate something, if at all the music is communicating something, so what is what? Sorry, ma'am. Just give me the 5 minutes. I know as a parent, you also have to take care of your children who are in the online classes. So just give me this 5 minutes. I'm going to wind up. I appreciate. Okay, so look for specific messages in books and music. That means, so trying to read between the lines, that is one exercise that you can do to improve your intuitive skills. So all these are some of the exercises, simple but very powerful exercises that I'm suggesting you to carry out to improve your intuitive skills. So which in turn can help you to make a better decision. So why it is very important? Because if you don't maximize on the intuitive skills that we have, so you will not be able to maximize in terms of making the right decision. So to maximize on the intuitiveness that we have, so we need to carry out such exercises that can enhance your observation, that can enhance your listening, and that can enhance a rich set of the past experiences will help you to make some better decisions when you are intuitively making some decisions, because your intuitive decisions are based on your past experiences. By carrying out such activities on a regular basis, so that will help you to have some rich data of past experiences, rich collection of past experiences. That positive past experiences can help you in a positive way to make some wonderful decisions. Okay, and along with that, you need to have the emotional awareness. When you say emotional awareness, so we want you to be here and now, not to allow you to get hijacked by your emotions. So trying to understand the pain bodies and other stuffs. So in short, it is about emotional intelligence. So one way of improving your intuitive skills is to improve your emotional intelligence. That itself is a separate topic. If there is some other opportunity, I can talk about emotional intelligence in detail. So now, for understanding emotional intelligence, one other thing that you can exercise to to get the best of intuitive skills, to get better the intuitive skills. So yes, intuitive skills has certain limitation. To overcome the limitation, we can bring out these exercises and maximize our intuitive skills so that we can make some great decisions. So now, to get the best out of this intuitive skills, okay, what I suggest is, okay, not taking away your intelligence and your knowledge, okay, this is the best possibility that I suggest, suggest to you guys for you to consider, okay, consider to get the best out of your intuitive decision making skills. What is that I'm suggesting? Okay, don't just improve your intuitive skills while you are having the best of intuitive skills, and with all that exercises that I'm suggesting. When you are improving your intuitive skills, I also want you to work on your domain expertise. Okay, so the expertise that you bring in, okay, and with your intuitive skills, so the combination of A intersection B, that could be the best possibility, so that you can put to use for your intuitive decision making skills. So I want you guys to bring the best of both worlds. Use your intuitions. So for you to make better decisions with intuition, you need to have a rich collection of your past memories. And for you to have the rich collection of attentive past memory, you need to work on intuition. And some of the ways of improving intuitions is what we have suggested: being in attention, and that will help you to find out the best possible decision for you. So according to NLP, it says that your unconscious is your king. Your unconscious mind knows what you really want, what is best for you. So if you have to believe that, if you want to maximize on that, so improve and increase the rich set of past experiences through your interview by working out these exercises and increasing the past experience, the rich set of past experiences, so that past experiences, when you intuitively make decisions, will help you to bring out the best decision possible for you. And along with your expertise, so when you increase your expertise and also intuition, so getting the best of both worlds, say intersection B, that will be the best possibility for you to maximize on your intuitive decision making skills. So this is something which we all have, and that is something which we can maximize if only you can, get attentive, be more observant, and drop your judgments and practice more of identifying your third subset of know things that you don't know that you don't know. So being more emotionally aware, all these things will improve your intuitive ability to make better decisions in life. So you have infinite potential. You have infinite potential as human beings and as faculties. So make use of this and bring out the best version of yourself, and thereby bring out the best version inside of each and every students and to your department and the institution that you belong to. Thank you very much for being with us. If you have any questions with respect to what we discussed today, or generally about intuitions, emotions, okay, or being judgmental, how to explore that third subset, please feel free to ask me now. So I don't know that I don't know. So inquisitiveness, that is one, okay, Bono, and the other one is so that will help us to stay away from being judgmental and prejudiced. Say, for example, as a faculty, I started off my career as an academician. I was into college teaching. I was handling classes for MCAs for nearly 4 years. So I have dealt with students. So I know as a faculty, as an academician, so we may have our own judgments about each and every student based on their behavior they displayed only inside the classroom, or with our own limited observation about the students. Correct? So if you go beyond that, whatever data that we have about the student, right? There is something more that we can know about the student. But the limited information that we know about the student, we are going to be judgmental, prejudiced, and make some decisions for that student, or color our judgments or our beliefs about the student in whatever decisions that we make. So to stay away from that, being aware of that and consciously trying to avoid that is what is available when you do this third subset. I don't know that I don't know. So that is what you get out of your own subject expertise as well. So intuition part, so it helps you to discover more about the other person and about yourself. And with respect to expertise part, if you apply that I don't know that I don't know, okay, what you get is Banu. You will push your boundaries to get externality, to know something more about something which you already think you are the master, or you're the king, or you're the go-to person for that subject. So it is going to push your boundaries to get externally and be the next level of master in that subject that you're dealing with. That's what I don't know that I don't know will trigger. Yes. Any questions, any concerns? They say women are more intuitive than men. Does it mean women are good decision makers and better leaders? Your comments, sir. Okay. So Anuradha, I agree. First, I would like to agree to the first half of the statement. Yes, women are more intuitive. So now tell me why. What do you think is the reason? What do you think is the reason? Anyone can respond. Yes, please unmute and respond. The first half, I'm totally agreeing, 100% agree on that.
They think less.
They think less. Okay, Pradeep. Is that Pradeep?
Yes.
Okay. Pradeep, are you married?
Yes, happily.
Happily married. Women speak more with others, okay? Kavita feels that could be the reason. Yes, women are more intuitive than men. Why? Say, for you to be intuitive, what is that one quality that we need? What is the one quality that we need? So remember the slide that we talked about animal and human comparison.
Observe.
Observe, attention, right? The attention levels of men are more distractive. Their attention levels are less when compared to women. And that is why they have the rich data set. Okay, they observe more, they collect more data, they are observant, they have more data. So only if you have a rich set of data, I mean the background of past past collections, you will be able to be more intuitive. So that data collection helps you in being more intuitive. And coming to the second half of the same question, okay, so does it mean women are more good at decision makers? Okay, it purely depends on how much they put that into use, because knowing makes no difference. Okay, so how much if you are using that intuitiveness to arrive at data or make decisions, that will make us anyone, be it men or women, to be the best decision makers. It is about how much you maximize on that and put that into use. Yes, no. Addition to details, yes, yes, being attentive, yes, that's the answer. To get more information from others, yes. Yes, any other questions? Any questions, any discussion? Intuition is a very powerful thing, more powerful than intellect. Intuition is computing logic, computer minus logic. Okay, that's a notes. Okay, so intuition is, yes, computation without logics, yes. Because we are not taking, because when it involves logic, it takes time. So intuition is something is instantaneous. Maya Jobi, it has to be instantaneous. If you are thinking, that means it is taking time, means you're thinking. That means you're bringing your logics, you're analytical, you're processing. If it involves processing, then it's not intuition. But intelligence makes you intuitious, logical. Yes, that's why I'm saying the best combination could be A intersection B. That's why I'm saying bring your expertise, increase your set of expertise, increase your rich set of intuitiveness and being aware and being in here and now. So that will help you to be maximizing both. So intelligence is affecting the intuition. No, so you can put the intelligence to use in such a way. Okay, so intelligence and intuitive, you don't have to look at as as rivals, as opposites. They can be friends. So think about the example that I talked about, the two examples that I gave you in the very beginning, the firefighter, and also think about the IPS officer who cracked that case. So does it mean they didn't use the intelligence? They use the intelligence. Okay. So some places it can help you even beyond your intelligence. There are certain things which is beyond your intelligence. And for that matter, let me give you a simple fact and example, Maya. And that is anything that you're experiencing today, be it any innovation that we are experiencing today, the person who innovated it once had an intuition or a hunch, and they started believing that intuition and hunch, and they were trying to find more facts to make that intuition and travel in that direction. So in other words, I can say intuition has been that the driving force are giving you the direction to many innovations and discoveries in the world. Animals have intuition. How about artificial intelligence? From your expertise in computer science, can you say anything on it? Okay, Gladwin Pradeep. So what do you think? I would like to hear from you first. So what there? So if I have to take up that question and respond to you, so not as an expert, so but as an humble human being, if I have to, with a little knowledge of what we are discussing right now. So in my preview, so what I would say is, Gladwin, so artificial intelligence is trying very hard to increase the rich set of emotions and data that is available. So if you notice in the exercises that we discussed to improve our intuitive skills, there are certain practices that they are doing, right? Observations. So observations is increasing a rich data set, right? Okay. So an increased rich data set will actually improve the performance of artificial intelligence as well. So that is what they are also thriving very hard to improve the data set. And the data set includes emotions, different times, why people behave the way they behave. So being very observant, all these things are increasing the rich data set, And that is possible by making it with a, that's what they're trying to do with artificial intelligence. They're trying to increase the rich data set, which becomes the input for the processor. You do not say whether women are better leaders or not because of intuition. Kavita, my personal take is yes, women will make are making best leaders out of them. So the simple fact that you all must be saying in social media is the countries where it is led by women leaders. So the corona has been pretty much controlled ahead of other countries where the men are leading the country. Okay, so end of the day, it is the individuals. Okay, we cannot generalize based on the gender or well within the gender. There are women, there are men who are good, who are bad. So it purely depends on the individuals. Yes, but the examples, the data that is available in front of us. Okay, it says if I have to logically answer to your question, so it purely depends. It depends on individuals. It has nothing to do with the gender. And if I have to intuitively answer your question, Kavita, then I would say yes, women can make great leaders. Vijay Raghavan, is the word intuition a general one or specific one? Because the word understand is a general one. If I say I have understood means up to how much point will be the question. Okay, so can you just elaborate your question? I heard that, and I read your previous comment that you have some difficulty in turning on the mic. So I need some clarity on your question. So it's others. Okay, so we are formally winding up the session. If you have questions, you can stay back. I can take up the questions. And for others, so we can formally close the session. So we all have the expertise. We have infinite potential to be intuitive. So if only we can get attentive and practice all these exercises to maximize on this intuitive skills. So because the rich data set is what will get you the best of decisions. So to increase the rich data set, I think we need to practice more of this intuitive practice exercise where you can get the best of data set to be more decisive in decision making. And otherwise, the best one could be the A intersection B, which is to use your intuitive skills, the best of intuitive skills, and also bring your expertise. For as simple as chess game. If you look at the chess game, okay. So though the moves are very limited, right? The moves are very limited. It's the same set of moves that is possible in every single game. So the chess players, most of the time, they go with the intuition. Yes, that's another example where people make decisions more intuitively. Yes, if I have to hand over to the host, Jaya ma'am or Revati ma'am, so I would like to hand over to you guys for formal closing, but I can stay back for 10-15 minutes. If there is more questions from the audience, I will be more than happy to take up the question and respond to you guys.
May I invite Mr. Venkat to give a closing remark? Venkat?
Thank you, Dr. Jaya. I thank our speaker. And I'm one of the participants who was putting a lot of messages in chat boxes. I'm sure when the meeting has started, I was imagining what is intuition and what is the definition of it. I'm sorry, still I cannot make it, but I have got a lot of clarity on how the intuition works and how to enhance it. The speaker has taken us in a very good way, stating the what is the necessity of making a decision or why to be an intuitive and how to use it, and at last how to enhance it. So I personally, as I have loved the comparison of being intuitive and expertise, using our expertise, the intersection what he has made at the last. I think that will be useful for most of us. I thank the speaker and the organizers for making a wonderful session of this kind. I'm sure based on the questions we are getting in the chat box, I think each and every individual who are in this meeting will have a lot of questions for the speaker. I'm sure the time is not enough for us. I think I would request the speaker to share if any email IDs so that we can ask any doubts in the future. So I thank the organizer and the management for giving this wonderful opportunity. over to
Thank you,
Dr. Jay.
Venkat. And so if you are looking at the screen, you have the definition for intuition. So please make a note of this definition. That's from the Neuroscience News. Okay, so it's not my definition. Okay, so yes, that's the definition. I don't want you to walk away with some misunderstanding on the definition for intuition. Yes.
Thank you, sir.
So I think in that case, the participants, I request you to fill the feedback form. The link is in the chat box. Thank you, Mr. Sengu. In that case, shall
Thank you, Venkat. Thank you, Jaya. Yes.
Yeah, thank you. Welcome.
If there is any questions, I will stay for a few more minutes. If you have questions, please post on chat box, or you can pick up the mic and shoot the questions.
There is one question from my side. I'm Venkat.
Yes, Venkat.
After we are getting a thought, is there a checkbox like whether we can go with this decision or not? Is there a template?
If you're checking, that is bringing logic.
Yes. Okay.
Okay. So intuitive is, as you remember, I gave you a simple syntax, right?
Yes. Yes.
Intuition is equal to
computation
minus logic. So the moment you bring logics and analytics, then it becomes the regular decision-making style.
Decision-making. Okay. Thank you.
So since you asked for my email address, I'll just drop my email address in the chat box. So you can write to me, or I am available on social media handles. So you can find me in all the social media platforms in the handle as Sengu space PWAL, Sengu Paal. So which is again I've dropped in the chat box. So how was faculties, you can put this in use, especially when you're taking decisions for yourself and for your students. So when you're working with students, I think the most important thing is to not bring your prejudice, judgments. Okay, so work on the third subset, which is I don't know that I don't know. Okay, that will help you for building better relationship with the students, and also the same subset will help you to be a better expert in the subjects that you deal with. And if you want others to make an intuitive decision, for example, if you are working on an admission campaign, you are going on an admission campaign, you are sitting in a counseling with the student, and you want the student to choose KCG College for admission. Okay, so if you have to influence their intuitive skills, intuitiveness, then what you have to do is we need to influence by giving some data, which can be in their immediate memory, which can influence their thinking. I'm not thinking. So which can be in the surface unconscious level. So which whenever they think about college, that the KCG should come in the mind. That is, in other words, increasing their rich data set so that they get influenced. Okay, if there are no more questions, I really appreciate all your time and wish everyone an amazing year ahead.
Thank you, Sengu. Thank you very much. And it was a great session. It was very interactive. And I think the participants have gained a lot from you through the session. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Revati ma'am.
Yeah. Thank you so much.